Hey, what's going on, fam? So I just want to make a real quick video. I don't even know where to start, so this is just going to be kind of a rant. But as many of you know, the Harriet movie was recently released, and it's what we typically expect from a white supremacist movie. It has all the white supremacist propaganda in there, the typical white savior that we see in 12 Years a Slave and all these other movies. Um, the low-key BSDM sadistic slave play, with the swirling, um, unnecessary, disrespectful, swirling narrative where the demonic slave master of Harriet secretly loves her, but he has to suppress it. All of this BS. He doesn't have to suppress nothing, but that's the propaganda. That it wasn't really white people being demonic at that time, or certain white people being demonic at that time. It was society making them be demonic. That's why he had to suppress his love for Harriet, even though he was a cruel, sick, sadistic white supremacist who enslaved black people. But no, he was suppressing his secret love for Harriet. All the propaganda. The main villain is a black slave catcher named Bigger Long. That's full of typical white supremacist innuendo, sexual innuendo. White supremacy has a historic obsession and fetish for the black male penis and all of this stuff. I don't even want to get into that because I would recommend reading the Man Not book, but it's just the typical fetishization and over sexualization of black people, and in particular the black male and the black male penis, with this whole Bigger Long sexualized name. And of course also too, all you got to do is swap out his first name, the B with an N, Bigger Long, swap the B with an N, and you also get the other inside joke. So this is and and that's really why I was started the video by saying I didn't even know if I should make this video or how to start with this video, because I'm just really exhausted, because all of these white supremacists, this propaganda, the tricks, the games, it's so predictable. It's so predictable, and it's exhausting, because it's exhausting that more black people don't easily see this for what it is. Because I know there's going to be a lot of black people out there who are going to go out and watch this movie and actually fall for the propaganda that the white slave master was actually a good man, and will fall for the propaganda that slavery wasn't all that bad, and a lot of black people during slavery were just as evil, if not more evil, than the white slave masters. When it's not about that, because whenever you see a black evil person, there's never a going out the way to make sure that they show that white people were just as evil, or if not more evil. There's none of that for black people. None of that ever gets done for black people. And what the real end goal is to really, just minimize racism and make it seem like not all white people. And again, nobody's saying all white people, but when you make that the focus, what it does is it takes the focus off the ones who are actually bad, and tries to get you to only focus on the ones who are good, so the ones who are bad can continue to go unpunished. A slave can't worry about a good white person unless that good white person is John Brown storming the plantation, killing the white slave master. If you're not that level of a white person, a John Brown level of white person, we can't sit up here and overly focus and overly propagandize the good white people in order to take the onus off the ones who are evil. The slave masters during Harriet Tubman's time was evil, and that's why she shot and killed them. And that's another propaganda lie and disrespect of Harriet's legacy that's in this movie, is they don't show her killing many, if any, white people. No, I'm not. I haven't seen the movie. No, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to contribute to that movie. And any black person who does, you're severely off code if you go watch that movie. But from what I can tell from the reviews, it's just a full out lie. This Bigger Long sexual innuendo named character doesn't exist. They don't show her shooting white supremacist slave masters, which is what she had to do on multiple occasions, or maybe shooting slaves who got scared. None of that. And she has to get saved from the fictional, non-existent main villain of this movie, who of course has to be a black man. And I want to say all of this again. This Cassie Lemons woman, she is not in charge of this movie. She's a token. She's a puppet. If you're a black person still who's still stupid enough to think that this Cassie Lemons woman has any input or any real power over this movie, she doesn't. The white supremacists have power over this movie. Do I know who they are? No. They've gone out of their way to hide their identity by propping up this Cassie Lemons woman. So no, we don't know exactly which white supremacists or what their name is that's controlling this movie. But it's not Cassie Lemons, I can tell you that. It's not this so-called black woman, even though they prop her up as their tired token to run the same trick that they run everywhere, where they put up a black token in a position of so-called power, but they have no power. Because the way you would know if they had power is let them try to do something that's extremely controversial, like reparations for black people. Let a black president try to do that, and you'll see who's really in power in the government, and it's not the president, or at least it wouldn't be a black president. And I'm talking about even if it was powers that are within his scope, the executive scope, that all of that would get shut down. Just like with these with the Freddie Gray case, we had a black prosecutor try to say she was going to lock down on the police, and then the real white supremacists came out the woodwork, getting her in trouble, getting her, trying to get her disbarred. They just threw the whole case out, basically. They just went after her super hard for indicting those cops. When Olu Stevens was saying that jury selection was racially biased and he called it out, they went after him and tried to censure him. There's been a black female judge recently, the same thing. She tried to call out the racism in sentencing. They're trying to get her disbarred. So these people, all these black people who will run around and tell you, I worked hard, I went to law school, I worked hard and to become a director, and there's no racism, and you're just hating on me, or you're just hating on white people because you didn't work hard enough, that's bullshit. They are tokens. They are tokens. And this is why every black person's number one goal needs to be toppling white supremacy. In the story. Because until that happens, you will continue to be oppressed. But anyway, fam, I didn't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to, I guess, kind of rant about this movie and the same old tired tricks. Again, as you can see, slave master lover conflation, so you can try to minimize how evil these people were and try to make it into some sick, demented interracial love story. Some fictional black man is the real villain who has to get killed by the white slave master, because again, he's not really that evil. The white slave owners weren't that evil. White racists aren't really that evil, and black people are just as bad. So let's let the white slave masters off the hook, because look at the black people they were enslaving. Look how evil some of them are, especially when you give them freedom. So the slave master was actually somehow doing a service to Harriet, because she was keeping her from being oppressed by a free black man by enslaving her. These are all the propaganda messages in there, along with, of course, black people don't have enough capacity to save themselves and be the heroes of their own story. That's why it's so imperative to have a white savior, and it's even more of a slam dunk or a success if the white savior can actually be somebody who in real life was a white villain, like a slave master. I'm tired of these movies. I'm tired of the fact that white supremacists can keep running these same tricks, this same propaganda, because there's still so many black people who fall for it. So really, at the end of the day, if you're a black person who falls for this propaganda, if you're still falling for these kind of tokens, if you're still going to see these kind of movies, please just stay away from me. Please just stay away from me, because we don't have nothing to talk about. We don't have nothing to relate on, because you're not very intelligent, and you're one of the reasons why black people continue to be oppressed to this day. But anyway, like, share, subscribe. Peace.